Welcome back to Next Door, everyone. Your home for everything Heartland. If you and we both adore Heartland, you're in the right place. Before we dive deep into today's emotional and wonderful subject, Borden's grand return in the first episode of Heartland Season 19, make sure to press that like button, drop a comment below telling us your subscribe to Borden's favorite memory. To Next Door for more updates, breakdowns, and heartfelt moments from Heartland. And of course, hit that notification bell so you never miss a story that moves you to tears now. Let's get right into it, because this one is special. Borden's return isn't just a straightforward character comeback, the heart of what Heartland Season 19, Episode 1 is all about. Since Ty's unfortunate departure, the entire family, especially Amy, has carried a piece of him with them. Every day. His spirit was present in their memories, in their work with horses, and in the way they held on to hope. But seeing him back in the flesh in Season 19 is like breathing life back into the ranch itself. Ty represents healing, unfinished dreams, and the reminder that family and true love never really go away. The dynamic of is altered by his return. The family, transforming previous wounds into fresh beginnings. Ty's significance is not just in his connection with Amy, but in how every character finds a part of themselves again through him. During Season 19, Ty's presence in Episode 1 reminds us and the entire Heartland family that love transcends even the deepest loss. The writers of Heartland crafted Ty's return with breathtaking care, setting the stage throughout the opening minutes of the episode. It's more than about him walking through the door, it's the energy that builds before it happens. The episode starts with subtle hints, old pictures being dusted off, a wild horse that can't be controlled, a feeling of restlessness that even the wide Alberta skies can't calm. Amy feels it. Lindy dreams about her father's laugh even, despite the fact that she is too young to recall it clearly. Jack looks out across the land, lost in thought. There's a tension, feeling that something big is about to happen. Furthermore, when Ty finally appears, it's quiet, almost like a not loud whisper carried by the wind. His return is grounded in the emotional reality of Heartland. No gimmicks, no ploys, just a man full of love and regret stepping back into a world that never truly forgot him. The show doesn't rush it. It lets you feel every heartbeat leading up to that moment. Amy's emotional journey, nothing happens when she sees Ty once more. Short of breathtaking, she doesn't run into his arms right away. Instead, there's a moment of disbelief, almost fear etched on her face. Is this real? Has her heart tricked her again? Tears immediately. She looks up, but she's frozen. Time appears to halt around her. In that silence, you see every ounce of grief, love, and she's carried for years, a longing. When Ty finally speaks her name, it's like a dam breaking. She rushes toward him, tears streaming down her cheeks, half laughing, half sobbing. This is not a fantasy reunion, it's raw, messy, and full of unspoken suffering. The way she touches his face, she's afraid he'll disappear. In that moment, Amy's entire trip across past seasons, her strength, her struggle to move forward, culminates in one word: Ty. This reunion is about more than lost love. It's about forgiveness, second chances, and the strength it takes to let your heart believe in miracles again. The moment Lindy spotted Ty standing by the barn, everything around her seemed to fade away, the noise of the horses, the gentle calls of Amy and Jack, it all became distant as her young heart focused on the figure she had only seen in dreams and photos. At first, she didn't move. Her small hands clutched the worn Tai had given her years with his toy horse. Ago, the one she carried like a shield. Against the world. Her eyes widened, not fully understanding, but feeling an overwhelming pull toward him. This was a moment of pure innocence, one where logic didn't matter and only love spoke. A few seconds passed that felt like hours. Then, without a single word, Lindy dropped the toy and sprinted across the barnyard. Her boots were releasing tiny clouds of dust. Tai knelt down, arms wide open, and when she collided into his embrace, it was as if the broken pieces of her tiny heart stitched back together in an instant. She held on tightly to him, burying her face in his jacket, not wanting to ever let go. Tears flowed down Tai's face as he hugged his daughter tightly, overwhelmed by the strength of her unconditional love. Promises, apologies, and explanations were unnecessary for her. Her innocent heart simply accepted that her daddy was home, and for her, that was enough to erase years of sadness. In that powerful embrace, the healing began not just for Lindy, but for the whole family. Jack Bartlett stood off to the side, watching the emotional reunion unfold, the weight of 1,000 emotions pressing down on his chest. Over the years, Jack had been the rock, the one who bore everyone's sorrow in silence while making sure the family never lost their way. Seeing Tai, his grandson-in-law, the boy he had mentored, fought with, and ultimately loved like a son standing there alive, was almost too much for his old heart to handle. Jack's blue eyes, usually so sharp and steady, shimmered with unshed tears. But he didn't rush forward. He knew better. Jack understood that some moments belonged to others first. He waited, breathing in deeply the familiar scent of horses, hay, and earth, steadying himself. There was neither a dramatic embrace nor an outburst when he finally got close. Instead, Jack placed a strong, weathered hand on Tai's shoulder, gripping it firmly. The simple gesture said everything. Welcome home. I missed you. I'm proud of you. The silence between them was broken by Jack's low, hurtful voice. You always did take the long way home, kid, he said with a wry smile that was barely visible on his lips. Tai chuckled through his tears, and in that exchange, Jack's wisdom shone. He taught everyone by example that true love is patient, that real strength lies in understanding that sometimes life's miracles come at the most unexpected moments, and when they do, all you need to do is hold on with everything you have. Lou Fleming had always been the planner, the fixer, the one who carried the family forward when others faltered. She was the one who had tried to help Amy rebuild her life after Tai's death, the one who whispered words of encouragement to Lindy when she cried for the father she barely remembered. So when Tai appeared before her, very much alive, Lou's emotions hit her like a tidal wave. She froze, torn between the overwhelming relief of seeing him again and the deep scars of grief that had shaped the last few years. Tears filled her eyes as she struggled to find her voice. A part of her wanted to run to him, to rejoice like everyone else. But another part, the guarded, wounded part, held her back, afraid to believe it was real. Finally, as Tai opened his arms to her, Lou broke down, crossing the distance between them in a few hurried steps and hugging him fiercely. Her voice cracked as she whispered, "You don't know what we went through without you." Tai's arms tightened around her, and in that moment, Lou allowed herself to hope again, hope that maybe they could reclaim the pieces of their family, rebuild the bonds that had been shattered, and trust and love once more. Her heart, once so full of fear and pain, dared to open again, welcoming Tai back into the family he had never truly left. Georgie stood a little ways off, her arms crossed, watching the scene unfold with eyes far older than her years. She had grown up with Tai as her mentor, her big brother figure, her inspiration, and losing him had forced her to grow up even faster. But now, seeing him again, something inside her softened. The fierce, independent woman she had become, strong from competition, life, and loss, felt the old familiar warmth of family flood back into her heart. She approached Ty slowly, almost cautiously, as if afraid he would vanish if she blinked. But when he smiled at her, the easy, encouraging smile that had gotten her through so many rough patches in the past, her guard broke. Tears slipped down her cheeks as she wrapped her arms around him in a hug that said everything she couldn't put into words. "You taught me to fight for what I believe in," Georgie whispered, her voice thick with emotion, "and you were worth fighting for." Ty chuckled softly, ruffling her hair like he used to, and Georgie realized that her growth wasn't just about becoming stronger without him. It was about incorporating his lessons into every aspect of her life. His return didn't erase the hard years, but it gave them new meaning, and for Georgie, that was a priceless gift. Tim Fleming stood stiffly at the edge of the gathering, arms crossed tightly across his chest, his mouth set in a hard line. His instincts screamed to protect his family, to stay tough, to question everything. After all, life had taught Tim that happiness could be ripped away in an instant. An instant trust, once shattered, is a fragile thing. Tim watched as Ty embraced Lindy, comforted Amy, and laughed with Jack and Lou while standing on the periphery. Each interaction was a testament to the bonds that time and absence had strained, but not broken. Something within Tim stirred a mix of relief, residual anger, and overwhelming gratitude. Clearing his throat roughly, he strode toward Ty, his boots stirring up the familiar dust of Heartland. Despite his stoic demeanor, his eyes revealed the turbulence of his emotions. Upon reaching Ty, words failed him. Instead, he pulled Ty into a rough, crushing hug, a silent conveyance of the myriad feelings he couldn't articulate. After a moment, Tim stepped back, his voice gruff as he muttered, "Don't think you're off the hook, kid. There's a lot to explain for you." Yet, his hand lingered on Ty's shoulder, and the subtle tremble in his voice revealed the depth of his emotions. Beneath his rugged exterior, Tim's heart swelled with relief and gratitude. He had endured profound losses, but today he witnessed a miracle, the return of someone he had feared lost forever. As the sun dipped behind the familiar silhouette of the Heartland barn, casting the sky in hues of orange and deep violet, Ty and Amy sought solace away from the day's overwhelming emotions. They walked together to their cherished spot, by the pond, a place where dreams had been whispered and promises made under the vast Alberta sky. Amy's heart trembled as the gentle rustling of the trees echoed the cool evening air. They sat side by side on the grass, close yet cautious, as if fearing that any sudden movement might shatter the fragile miracle between them. Amy turned to Ty, her hands nervously twisting the hem of her sweater, her throat tight with unspoken words. Ty reached out and gently tucked a loose hair behind her ear, sensing her struggle. This was a touch that felt both so familiar and so foreign after their years apart. "I'm sorry," he whispered, his voice breaking. "Amy, I tried so hard to get back to you." To Lindy. "I never wanted to leave you alone." Amy's tears slipped silently down her cheeks as she shook her head. She whispered back, "You didn't leave us, Ty," her voice shaking. "We took you away from you. And I had to find a way to live without you. But I never stopped loving you. Not for a second." Ty's hand found hers, calloused and strong. She held onto it with all her might, securing her awareness of his presence. He spoke of the pain and loneliness he had endured, of how thoughts of her and Lindy were the only light in his darkness. Amy poured out her feelings, admitting the sleepless nights, the pain of raising Lindy without him, and the guilt she felt when she had fleeting moments of happiness without him. They cried together, their tears soaking into the earth that had borne witness to every chapter of their love story. After the flood of pain came tentative dreams, spoken softly between lingering glances and trembling smiles. "We can't erase what happened," Amy said, her voice steadier now. "But maybe we can write a new story. For us. For Lindy." Ty squeezed her hand and nodded, his eyes shimmering with a mixture of grief and hope. "I want that," he whispered fiercely. "I want every moment I have left to be with you." As stars blinked into existence above them, Ty pulled Amy into his arms, holding her tighter than ever before. In the shelter of his embrace, Amy closed her eyes and, for the first time in what felt like forever, allowed herself to imagine a future not defined by loss, but by rekindled love, a future where every heartbeat, every breath, was a gift they would never take for granted again. And that brings us to the end of this emotional journey. Heartland fans, Borden's grand return has touched every corner of our hearts. Seeing him reunite with Amy, Lindy, and the entire family reminds us why we fell in love with this show in the first place. If you felt the same wave of emotions, we'd love to hear your thoughts. How did Ty and Amy's conversation move you? What are your hopes for their future in Heartland Season 19? Share your feelings in the comments below. I read every single one and cherish hearing from you. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to Next Door, and tap the notification bell so you never miss any updates, breakdowns, and heartfelt moments from Heartland and beyond. I am so grateful that you have joined me on this amazing journey. Emma from Next Door, signing off for now, but I'll see you again very soon. Stay safe, stay kind, and keep believing in the magic of Heartland.